everyone, I'm Cyndee Whitney, and this is Discovering Laguna Woods Village. Today we're going to be discovering Clubhouse 4, because word has it around here that Clubhouse 4 is where all the magic happens and where all the cool stuff is made. Well, today we're going to go in and find out for ourselves if that's true. We're going to be speaking with several people who have been coming here for a while and have made some astoundingly beautiful things. They're going to share those things with us and tell us a little bit about how they made them. And we hope that you are inspired by this, because later on in the show, we're going to reach out to you and remind you of the importance of keeping creative pursuits and interests in your life, regardless of your age. And at the end of the show, we're going to give you some resources and some contact information so that you can become much more connected with your inner artist, or photographer, or ceramicist, or painter. You get the idea. We're going into Clubhouse 4. Come with us, won't you? Let's go. Hi everyone, we're in the wood shop right now and we're talking to Harold Lerner.
Yes.
Harold, will you tell us how long you've been coming to the wood shop at Laguna Woods Village?
Oh, 17 years now.
17 years.
They found me underneath one of these tables. I don't know where it was, but it's been quite a while.
You just showed up one day, right?
That's it.
Well, you've made some amazing things. We've been looking at these astoundingly beautiful pieces that you've made. What are some of the challenges in making some of these little miniature cars and furniture pieces?
The biggest part on the cars is making the wheels and getting the spokes in the wheels. So making anything small like that is always more difficult than making it big. If you're making it big, you can pick it up in your hand and do it. Some of this stuff I pick up and drop 10, 15 times before I get it in where I want it.
They're wonderful pieces. And you know, you shared with me at one time that you were an engineer in your previous work
Manufacturing
life.
engineer.
Manufacturing.
That, and did a lot of work in the engineering test lab.
Did any of those skills that you used in that work transfer to coming here to the wood shop?
Oh yeah, because we used to have to run tests, so we had to figure out where we were going to put the transducers. I would get the transducers to work and all the rest of that stuff. So you had to find the screws, and drill holes, and all the rest of it. And that's basically all this stuff is. The lock here, just a wooden lock. It's locked.
It's amazing.
And the thing I like about the lock is when you do that and you get that click. Oh, I like that click.
I'm very impressed with your whimsical clocks. What started you creating these wonderful clocks?
We went to Barnes and Noble and I saw this clock book. This one, the dragon, the Salvador Dali clock behind me, and then I've got a few other ones. I've got a star clock at home, a one with three legs go back and forth, and it's a ballerina. And whatever the mood strikes me, it's just like this little table here. I have the full-size table at home that stands about 18 inches up. It's 18 inches by 24. So, but I looked at that and I said, I got to make a small one.
So you make real-size furniture too?
Oh yeah, yeah. I got. I have one there that I made. That's my martini table, because when I sit in my chair, I can put my martini on it. And that's important.
We're speaking with Lloyd Walter. Lloyd has made some spectacular bowls out of found wood, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his process. We're very interested in your pieces, and I was wondering if you could tell our audience, how did you become attracted to working with wood in the first place?
Well, I started out, grew up in the country, so I had a little bit of functional background, and most of my life I had some training in woodworking, but fix up the property, do a little remodeling, build a little furniture. And then in 2000, I was getting ready to retire, and I run across a bunch of woodworkers in the mall and talked to some turners, and I thought I would like that. So I bought a cheap $280 lathe. I figured I could give it away if I didn't like it. I guess I liked it because I later bought a better lathe.
How does coming here to Clubhouse 4 advance your skills?
Well, there's people here with all kinds of talents. There's some good wood turners. There's some furniture makers, some people that do other kinds of cabinetry and all of that sort of thing. So if you've got a problem, you can generally find somebody that helped, and most of the people around here are very helpful.
You used to call this hobby a distraction, and now it's kind of a full-time vocation for you. Would that be fair?
While I was still working, it was kind of in the way of things a little bit. But then once I retired, it gives me something to do. I come here every day about 8 o'clock or soon after, and it's a lot better than television.
Now, Lloyd, I understand that you're in a local fair, an art affair. Is that correct?
Yes, the Festival of the Arts. It just started a few days ago. It'll run through July and August, so
and that's
enjoying that.
And that's in Laguna Beach?
Laguna Beach, yes.
Wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about these pieces in particular? They're beautiful.
Well, this is my favorite work. It's Manzanita burl. It's, you might know the bush, but the burl grows underground, so you probably haven't seen them. Very rich color and variety of textures, so I enjoy that a lot. These I got out of the firewood pile here in Laguna Beach. This is
that's amazing.
This is a piece of peach and rich color and texture. This piece of Hollywood, very wild grain. I enjoy that a lot. Most of my pieces I keep the bark on. It kind of adds a little bit of color and contrast to it. And then once in a while you use a piece that's lumber that I had to buy. And this is an open segmented piece. I can open it. And
oh my goodness.
And these are rosewood and padoot, some hardwoods. A little different kind of an approach, yes. You have to plan this one very well. These you sort of develop, clean up the piece, get rid of the wood that has to go away,
right.
And then you clean up, shape with what you got left.
So the wood kind of speaks to you?
Very much, yes. And then you kind of enjoy it, and the touch is a part of it.
Oh, it's so smooth.
Yes.
It's beautiful. What's on the horizon? What are you going to be working on next?
Well, I'm always looking for new woods, something new, something different, and I'll continue doing that sort of thing and just building them up.
What would you say to somebody that's just moving here to Laguna Woods Village, and maybe they always wanted to work in a wood shop, but they never really had the chance?
They can come down here and look around. If they decide to like it, they can sign a waiver and come down here and have at it.
Have at it.
And that's about.
Is that how you did it?
Well, I had a little more knowledge of what was going on around here than somebody just walking in, because we do have some of the machines in here are dangerous.
Yes.
And you got to be a little careful and know what you're doing when you're working with those machines. The table saws we have are pretty good. They stop and shut down in a couple of milliseconds, so you can't, on the 3 table saws, can't cut your finger off anymore. You might get a little nick, but that's about it. We have a set of rules and everything else that you're supposed to abide by.
Wonderful.
And so, but outside of that, you can come in and have at it. If you have any mechanical ability, you won't have any trouble.
Well, we're talking with Joan Scully in the art studio now. Hi, Joan. How are you?
Hello, and good morning.
I have to tell you, I'm so impressed with your beautiful paintings. Do you have a favorite medium that you paint in?
Well, at the moment, acrylic, because it's just so much easier to move. I like to paint bigger.
To ask you also, you're coming here to Clubhouse 4. I know you can probably paint at home. What brings you into Clubhouse 4?
Oh, probably the same reason I got into painting in the first place, just camaraderie. It's just a fun place to be. Come and have a cup of coffee.
Well, this is just beautiful, beautiful artwork, and I'm just wondering, what would you say to somebody that was coming here, maybe they're new to Laguna Woods Village, and they're thinking about taking a beginning art class? Would you encourage them to do that?
Oh, do it. We have classes in every media that there is, beginning, intermediate, and advanced. We have classes that are designed for people to start mid-semester or anytime they come in, so they don't have to wait for September or a particular starting date like an emeritus class.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's separate from the Saddleback Emeritus program.
The Art Association has their own classes.
Okay.
They have classes in every media that you can imagine. And the other good thing is in every single room in Clubhouse 4, every studio, You've got somebody with the apron on, they're the supervisor.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean they're supervising people, it means they're there to share the resources, to tell people who need some direction, what is possible, or just to help them.
And that has helped you
Oh, definitely.
when you started?
Definitely. Plus, it's just really cool to paint with people who are super good. And there are so many good artists here at Laguna Woods.
And they're going to tell you about the paints themselves and which ones to buy and how to do that. Just basically get you
Absolutely.
started.
Absolutely.
Well, that takes all the fear out of it, doesn't it?
And for anybody who says they can't draw a straight line, wrong.
Start the paint on the canvas and
Oh my God, I was in my 70s before I started painting.
that's wonderful. And your work is just exquisite. I must tell you, I'm just awestruck by looking at your work. It's just beautiful.
Thank you. Persistence, that's all.
Persistence, and the joy of what you're doing. The joy of
That's
what you're
true,
doing.
that's true.
Yeah.
These particular paintings are samples of what I call my native plant series. Why couldn't I paint these native plants in a beautiful way so as to feature them and make a comment about losing their habitat, to global warming and, man's intrusion into their habitats, etc. So that's why I add these. Sometimes you'll see a hard edge element in my work. And that's kind of one of my signature. My goal was to do 100. I've now surpassed that goal. So now I'm just dabbling and trying some different things.
And do you contribute to that, the mission of saving these particular endangered plants? Is that something that you
Well, I'm
work
a
with?
member of the California Native Plant Society. I'm a member of 350.org. And and then some other conservation.
What brings you into Clubhouse 4? What's the attraction here?
Oh, well, I love the light. For one thing, this is a perfect northern light. I love being around other people, other artists, and being able to have the socialization because I'm a very social person. And if I sat at home all the time, I think I'd become very kind of morbid and bored, and I don't have as much enthusiasm if I don't have someone to, bounce ideas off of and talk about compositional, talk about artistic, compositional.
So it's like a support system because a lot of
Yes.
times people think artists are solitary in their pursuit of their art.
We kind of find, what's comfortable for us.
Wonderful.
So that's-
Well, what do you see as a future for what would you like to have as a series next? Are you thinking about that?
Well, I've just come into ownership of some wonderful boxes. So I have these boxes now. This is the first painting I've done that has a very thick, profile.
Right.
So I'm painting around it, and I'm just doing that. I'll probably do some hard edge pieces too, which I used to do, just cityscapes. So I'm revisiting old images that I've already sold the paintings, and so I'm kind of trying them in new and different ways.
Well, I'm going to speak to a cross-pollination now because I know you're a yoga teacher because I go to your class, and I want to ask you, does your yoga practice influence your artwork?
I would say what my yoga practice does is it helps me relax, for one thing. It helps me also, it strengthens me. So if I'm bending over a painting or standing for long periods of time, I have a lot more energy than before I start doing yoga.
So your advice to somebody who's just moving here to Laguna Woods and kind of had art and painting way in the background of their thinking, someday I'm going to do that, what would you advise them to do?
I guess as an art teacher myself, I would say that just learn how to pick up a pencil and start drawing, because that would be the basis for anything. And anybody can draw a stick figure. Look at children's art. Just embrace your inner child and
Yes.
have fun with it.
Be still my heart. We're going into jewelry. Ed, you are very beloved, and I know you know that, but I'm going to tell you the many ways that we appreciate you. You are a treasured teacher, you are a dedicated supervisor, and you are a master jeweler, because what I'm looking at behind me is just a fraction of what you have done. So let me ask you a question. Why are you attracted to making jewelry?
It's a good hobby.
Yes.
I'm a hobbyist, that's all.
Yes. But you're also a designer.
I did take some art classes in Beverly Hills High School, so it just came naturally.
And I noticed that you're doing a lot with silver as a metal. Is that your favorite metal to work in?
Really not.
Really not? Okay. What is your favorite metal?
Gold.
Gold.
It's so expensive.
Yes.
I moved into silver.
Yeah.
I make once in a while some gold pieces for my favorite wife.
Oh, your favorite wife, yes. I've met her. I can see why she's your favorite.
Yeah.
Yvonne, I have to start by way of introducing you to tell you that you are the reason that I moved to Laguna Woods.
That's great.
Thank you. I was coming here and I was looking at different properties and I walked past Clubhouse 4 and I saw your work in the display window and I said, I must come here and find this woman and work with her, and I have the good fortune of coming in here and working with you several times a week. So very lucky for me. So
Thank you very much.
your work is beautiful, and I have to ask you, when did you start doing this?
I used to love jewelry, being a woman. And I started in 2006, the fall semester. And ever since that, I just love it. Taking a class is a good start because the teacher will teach you the basics skills that you need to do your metal fabrication. And because on top of metal, I also work on the enameling. So, which is, they teach you step by step.
Yes.
I think it's a good way to learn it.
Yes, and I noticed that sometimes when we're in here, someone will come in and open the door and maybe look at the studio and kind of walk right out because they're not sure. Maybe the torches are a little intimidating or some of the equipment. What would you say to that person?
I would say I have the same experience before. It took me about 6 months to get used to the torch because I'm really afraid of it, especially the flame.
Yes.
I always shake every time. But after you come over here and use it, it's like a practice.
Yes.
Over and over, you can get over it.
Yes.
Yeah, it just becomes so natural.
Yes, I had the same experience, and so you no longer fear the torch, but you respect it.
Yes.
Yes. What exactly is the difference between jewelry fabrication and, say, stringing beads or something like that? What's the difference?
Stringing beads, you just using a needle and thread to string all the beads together. But for jewelry fabrication, you actually work on the metal. And from here, you see that I work with silver.
Yes.
Only. But sometimes when I do a experiment piece, then I will use either copper or brass. So this is metal fabrication. You actually change the shape of the metal to do whatever you want.
And it may involve soldering as well.
Soldering,
okay.
Yeah, everything.
They're beautiful, beautiful pieces.
Thank you.
Have you had your pieces in a show or in a gallery?
Not in the gallery. Yeah, in the show, yes. Because each piece, it's like kind of like my baby. I want to keep to myself.
Yes, yes, I understand. What is your future jewelry self looking forward to doing? Is it enameling or something beyond that?
Enameling plus and continue to work with metal. And you see there are several pieces that I did. It's all enameling, but when I put them together, it actually is metal fabrication.
They're beautiful. They're
You see,
beautiful.
for this piece, it's a pendant, and the centerpiece is actually enameling piece. But I use silver to set it. So when you wear this, it's a combination of two.
It's exquisite,
Thank
one
you.
of a kind. And now we are talking to the beautiful Blanche Goldman. Blanche, you are an inspiration to us all. We sit here sometimes and watch you sawing and hammering and drilling and using all the heavy machinery and pulling wire and doing all sorts of amazing things. And do you know what an inspiration you are to the rest of us in jewelry?
Well, I just enjoyed being here with people half my age.
No, Since you brought it up, would you mind me asking you your age?
Oh, I'm 99.
99 years young. Well, you are a beautiful lady. What draws you to making jewelry?
Well, I've always been into crafts, even as a young child. So this was just a natural thing for me. And when I saw Clubhouse 4, that was it.
Yeah.
I knew I'd find my niche.
Yes.
And so can anybody else.
Yes.
I want to make the effort to come down here and
Yes.
see what's here.
Yes, and I know you take the shuttle over here. I see you with your little rolling cart and
Yeah.
you take the shuttle and
When I stop driving, I continue with the bus. The buses really are great.
yeah.
I can get to classes in time, 9 o'clock if I want to get up that early.
Yes. Yes. So you're still taking classes?
I've signed up for September, yes.
I'm so impressed. So you have things that you're doing on your own because you've been doing them for a while, but you're learning new things. Which metal do you work in?
Of necessity, silver.
Yeah, silver. Yes, silver's beautiful. Silver's
So
beautiful.
is brass.
Yes, yes, yes.
They're both nice mediums.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time today to inspire us
Thank
yet
you.
again. We're talking to Sabine Bayless. Sabine is the supervisor here at Clubhouse 4. I have to ask you a question. You are also an artist. And so given your knowledge of art and your knowledge of all of these amazing creative suites here, creative studios, what, in your opinion, is the important role that Clubhouse 4 plays at Laguna Woods Village?
It's probably a good outlet for a lot of people's creativity. They can come in here, if they already know about art, they can just continue doing what they are used to, or if they wanted to, they could take classes and get educated in pottery and painting, drawing, even sewing, wearable art, glass, anything. So you can start as a total beginner or
An intermediate, maybe?
as an intermediate. You just keep follow up and learn more and get advanced to the advanced stage. You have the opportunity here to show your art. Once a year you have the opportunity to sell your art to a point.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and I think it's it's lifelong learning.
Yes.
It's being creative, being social, come
Yes.
into a community who they all have the same in mind. They love to be creative, they love to get out there
Yes.
and just have fun, basically.
And sometimes people, rather than just pursuing one singular discipline, they decide that they're going to do more than one. They're going to take, for example, ceramics and maybe sewing and maybe painting. And so,
We have a bunch of these.
Yes.
They go from ceramics, they make their little buttons, they go to wearable art, they put the buttons on their blouses. They go to, or like one of the ladies here, they go ceramic art studio, big acrylic paintings, and it kind of, everything plays into each other. They come into lapidary, they shape their little rockies, and then they go to jewelry and make their big rings, nice necklaces. It's interwoven.
yes. Now I have to ask you a practical question because you oversee the mechanics, the staff, the equipment, and a big concern here, because we are working with world-class equipment, is safety. Can you talk a little bit about the safety protocols that are in place here?
The very first thing you would do if you come in as a resident, you would go up to the supervisor. Every room is supervised by one volunteer supervisor. They are educated in safety precautions. You will get handed over a waiver. You sign that waiver, and then you get handed over the rules for that room, which how to use certain machines, what not to do, or yes, you will be educated. The volunteer supervisor will have an eye on you as long as you're in there, and they will step in if something went wrong, if a machine goes out on you, or you are the one who you're pressing a little bit too hard on that diamond wheel, and you. So we are big in safety.
Yes. Well, that's great, because everybody that comes here wants to have the confidence that all of this is in place, and so that's really excellent to know.
And we will help. We will
Yes.
have assistance
Yes,
ready.
yes.
I mean, if you have a special project, you can also come to me, and we talk about it. I can point out certain people who are knowledgeable about what you want to do
Yes.
or have done similar projects, and then we will hook you up.
Yes.
Kind of make it somehow happen.
That's wonderful. I did not know that about you. I learned something today. Well, this is wonderful. Thank you for being available to us today, Sabine. We really appreciate your time. So thanks so much for giving us all this information and helping us be more confident when we come into Clubhouse 4. Thank you. Now, if we can't motivate you to come to Clubhouse 4 because it's just so much fun to do these creative pursuits, how about because it's good for you? Scientists continue to study the long-term benefits of creative thinking and activity. They tell us that older adults have a high capacity for creativity because we are willing to take risks. There is also great benefit in the art-making process, in how the artist engages in the art being made, and the challenges in learning new things. One study showed that making art with others can promote increased self-esteem, motivation, and social connection, leading to improved health and well-being. Another study concluded that creative activity contributes to successful aging by encouraging development of problem-solving skills that translate into a practical creativity in older adults' daily living. They also found that creativity fostered a sense of competence, purpose, and growth.